What about the guy who does pay attention? And then the girl who doesn't have any recognition or gratitude for that. She just goes, "Oh, well, he should be doing that anyway." The internet space talks a lot about vetting women, of course, and looking for things what to notice. And I think things will trend. I'll tell you kind of how it goes as like a content creator. But I mean, I'm a content creator, like, I don't know, second, maybe third. you know, it's not my primary job. Okay. My primary job is being a consultant and a coach to you guys who really need help. And I do that through, you know, coursework, my mastermind group, of course, and then individual consults. How do you vet girls out, right? Like once you get past that initial defense mechanism, get a decent conversation, get her on the date, how do you then progress this into something else? And is it somebody you should even progress anything with? You've progressed relationships before that you probably shouldn't have. I know I'm guilty of that. She's pretty, smells nice. She makes your, under area feel tingly, right? So what could go wrong? Right? She's pretty. So what could go wrong? And so a lot of you guys have experienced exactly what could go wrong. And so that's why you want to take your time and you want to spend some time vetting. So we're going to go through it. What's one thing that you want to pay attention to? You want to pay attention to gratitude. Sounds basic. Hear me out. All right. There's so many entitled women now, and they're very entitled when they hit the dating marketplace. Yeah, you can game those women. You can get them to sleep with you. That's fine. But if you notice the trend, okay, of persistent lack of gratitude and a persistent sense of entitlement, then that's somebody that you should avoid having much of a close relationship with. What'll ultimately happen is they're not going to appreciate the things that you do that are good. This is where guys get it really, really wrong. They'll learn some game skills and they'll think, oh, I'm going to game this person. I'm going to be attractive. I'm going to seduce them. I'm going to get them to like do what I say, and then they're going to be grateful because they're in my frame, right? That's talk about frame as being the most important thing. So they'll be like, they're in my frame. So they're going to have this gratitude towards me. Well, that doesn't happen a lot because gratitude is a state of mind that people can have or not have. If you're in a state of mind of being grateful for things that you have, then when your partner, this is you, okay, has a bunch of attributes that make him better and distinct from other men out there, she's going to have gratitude and appreciation for that. When you do things that are either for her or just for the good of both of you, simple things like planning the date, picking a nice place to go, picking fun stuff to do, the seduction process, remembering little things about her for next time, right? All of these just, we don't need to get too down the rabbit hole or complicated with it, but simply paying attention. How many guys don't pay attention? Women bitch all the time. Oh, he doesn't pay attention. Guys don't pay attention. Well, what about the guy who does pay attention? And then the girl who doesn't have any recognition or gratitude for that. She just goes, oh, well, he should be doing that anyway. The he should be doing that anyway mindset is not gratitude, it's entitlement. All right. It's not that you're looking for a medal for being a good dude or being a gentleman or something, right? But there are so many people who are not that. And there's so many people who are not that for their partners. And oddly enough, a lot of those girls are happy to have sex with those guys. So that should tell you something. Why are they even happy to have sex with those guys? Because they don't recognize it when it happens. They're too focused on themselves. They're too focused on their self-esteem and validating themselves that the guy who doesn't treat them that well is the guy that they'll often sleep with and go for because they don't have any gratitude. And so it's they're more focused on them. And solipsism is a real thing, of course. We know it's a universal thing when it comes to women. But there are some women out there though who have gratitude that's just ingrained in themselves. They're not the women who have drama. They're not the women who have like a lot. I mean, there's with 2 degrees. I mean, there's always a degree of drama, right? But they're not the ones who are always focused on bad and then about it all the time. They're not the ones who are bringing you problems all the time because that's their focus. They're not the ones who walk away from a date like with her nod of approval, like it was a good date. He did what he was supposed to do. Versus walking away from a date or experience feeling just good, that she had a good experience. You see, it's a whole mental framework that guys and girls need to have. Now, there's a secret about this gratitude thing, though, that you need to do. It's a pretty simple thing. It's not that secret, really. It's really common sense. There's a way of attracting women to you that will have the 3 traits I'm going to mention versus repelling those women and attracting other women that are not going to be good partners after a while. I mean, you might be able to have some casual sex. You might be able to have like whatever, just some fun or whatever. Maybe they're party girls, maybe they're this or that. But then at the end of the day, like, forget it. You know what I mean? Like, they're not somebody who will be focused on your good qualities and then not see, and then, and then, consider those good qualities with mistakes or anything you might make as a human being. Because then that's the other part of it, right? The other part of it is you're a human being. You're not always going to be doing everything 100% right. I put it in quotes because that can be, there's objectively right and there's subjectively right. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't mean like deeply morally right, but what's the most effective, right? And what's she going to focus on? And I noticed this when guys who are dealing with struggles in like long-term relationships, like with their wives, for example, the guy maybe stopped doing some courting and stopped doing stuff to instill the emotion in her. So that's bad on her part or his part. But then on her part, because that emotion's not stimulating, she stopped really focusing on the things that were good that he would do. And she would just focus on any mistake or any bad that he would do. And it's just a lack of gratitude for the type of man that he is. And a lot of times when breaking it down, I might be able to say to the guy, okay, you stop courting, stop doing this. But sometimes that stuff's a result of her behavior too. Not that he should do those things, but it's a result of how he had been being treated because he had found himself in the dating process basically trying to win her over. She was pretty. She made him feel good and she made him feel better when he would earn right her approval. And so kind of a no more Mr. Nice Guy sort of idea, right? But it's like he's trying to earn her approval during the dating process. And she's sitting there like judge, jury, and executioner. And when he gets things to go well, then he feels like a good boy. All right. And when things, maybe don't turn out exactly whatever, even though things may still turn out well, she's in this place of criticism. And you can tell in the date, it's lack of gratitude will turn to criticism in a relationship, will turn to devaluing in a relationship, especially if you do make a mistake, because you're a human being. You will make a mistake. You will make a mistake you'll make several mistakes every day that will probably be small. And you'll probably make big mistakes that are breakupable offenses, even in the relationship. If you're with somebody long enough, you're just going to do that. It's just what it is. But with that, if you have a lot more good things that you're bringing to the table and she's in a mind state of gratitude, she's going to be able to consider those things and not be tunnel visioned on the things that she didn't like that happened. And therefore, then she's going to appreciate you, and she's going to be more able to let things go, right? And let you correct something that you did that wasn't necessarily good. And she's not going to be this entitled person. And in fact, she's going to be able to correct her own behavior too, even a lot of times if she does something not so good, because she's grateful for how you are and she doesn't want to lose that relationship. You see, gratitude is tied into an appreciation for what you have. And you have some people out there that have a general lack of appreciation for what they have. And what happens is they get in a negative mind state. And that negative mind state puts them in a negative bias, and they bring that into their lives. And these are the people who complain and bitch. And that's how it shows up. So now it's bitching about her job, bitching about this, bitching about that. Now there's a degree of talking to you to vent and get things out, which is good if you're a source for that as a man. All right. That means she sees you as that alpha, that guy that she can turn to, for that piece. But if she's constantly negative all the time about a lot of things in her life, that demonstrates a lot of things that demonstrates a lack of an ability to take that part of her mind and just recognize, okay, well, at least I appreciate the things that I do have. And she'll inevitably discard that relationship or devalue the guy or destroy everything for herself. These are the unhappy women that are single and, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even. Not every single one of those women, but these are a lot of those women, right? They had things that were good for them, and then they discarded them because they were ungrateful for what they had. And they were unwilling to look past or overlook mistakes and things that were bad. And they were unwilling to look at their own mistakes and participation in it, and unable to see that, what I had with so-and-so was pretty damn good and worth working on. They're not going to do that if they're not in a position of gratitude, if they're not grateful for if they're not a generally grateful person, if they don't think like a person who's grateful. And instead they think like a person who's entitled. All right.